The Kinsey Collection is the largest private holding of African-American art and artifacts. The family show has traveled the world and some say it was the blueprint for the Smithsonian National Museum of African-American History and Culture. We caught up with them in Houston at their latest exhibition to discuss how it all began and the importance of knowing your history. Inside Houston's Holocaust Museum, America's fight against Nazi Germany is getting a second look.
Here we have African-American troops liberating concentration camps. You never heard that before.
This history is being shared through the lens of a family hoping to right the record.
The myth of absence is operating at so many levels in the Kinsey Collection, and we believe when you come through here, you see a different side of this whole story.
For husband and wife Bernard and Shirley Kinsey,
these paintings hanging on the wall are some of my favorites because...
and their son Khalil, the whole story covers far more than World War II.
This is a marriage record for a young girl named Estabana, known as the earliest known black baptismal record in American history.
Documents from the 1590s of free black people who settled with the Spanish in St. Augustine, Florida. How do you know they're black?
It actually states that in the transcription.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And other artifacts and artistry, sculptures, paintings, murals. These are doors. Where are they from?
From the Cape Coast Castle in Ghana, 4.5 million people went through these doors.
Giving context to an era many have tried to forget.
One of the most profitable businesses in the history of the world was taking people. I mean, in 1850, people were more valuable than land. Land in Florida was 2 cents an acre, and a person was $500. So do the math.
And greater understanding for our common connection. We are in the Holocaust Museum. I think some people might wonder, what is the connect?
Mm-hmm. We view American slavery as a Holocaust as well, one that was studied by Adolf Hitler. There is no disconnect if we look at this from a holistic human perspective. And by that, we should and deserve to know more about each other's stories.
What is the myth of absence?
That black people, number one, were here at every stage and we participated in everything. That we weren't simply toiling in fields, we were resisting at every stage.
Resistance during the Civil Rights Movement is how Bernard Kinsey and Shirley Pooler met at Florida A&M University.
Well, you see this cute 17-year-old getting out of jail, and it took a lot of courage to go down in Tallahassee in 1963. People were getting killed. And I just thought that combination was pretty remarkable. So I wanted to meet him.
After graduation, they got married, and Bernard became one of America's first black park rangers.
So we began to collect souvenirs at first.
Actually, it was Native American stuff first, because our first travel was from Los Angeles to the Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon.
I had never been there, so our first collecting really was, I've got Kachina dolls, I've got rugs, I've got sand, I've got all kind of stuff from these national parks.
But once he became a big corporate executive at Xerox, their collection grew more nuanced.
Ernie Barnes was one of the first pieces that we bought, because his work always inspired us growing up in the South.
So what room is this?
Well, this is where we keep all the good stuff.
Inside their home, their own ancestry speaks volumes.
This is my dad, who I just adore.
Bernard's father was an educational changemaker in Florida. Shirley's grandmother, a silent protester through her sewing machine.
Well, because when I was growing up, Mama said, we don't go to the store if you can't try on clothes. I'll make your clothes, and that's what she did.
People began entrusting them with their family's possessions.
This gentleman called him up and said he'd found this in his aunt's attic, and nobody had been up there since the 50s or whatever. And wanted to send it to him. And Bernard, I can remember, he stood there opening at the door, and he was literally shaking.
A bill of sale of a human being from 1832.
I couldn't believe that somebody could own somebody. Now, it's abstract when you read about it. It is different when you're holding this guy in your hand.
That was a turning point when casual collectors became intentional curators. Another push came through an assignment for their son in elementary school.
And he came home saying, well, Mom, James can go all the way back to the Mayflower. And Jimmy can go all the way back to Paris. And we could say only we could go to Florida because we didn't know anything else beyond that. I decided then that all of his reports were going to be about somebody black who did something to help America become America.
From authors and thinkers like Phyllis Wheatley and Frederick Douglass to the man who ensured Washington, D.C. was built to spec, Benjamin Banneker. For nearly 20 years, the Kinseys have taken this show on the road, from Hong Kong to Disney's Epcot Center to the Smithsonian, and even a Super Bowl at SoFi Stadium.
That's Shirley, that's Khalil reading Khalil Gibran,
Yeah.
And that's me. And I love this because he's got us looking toward the future.
Everywhere the Kinsey Collection goes, it relays writings, inventions, and presents in all spaces linking past with present.
This is Dr. Selma Burke. She actually crafted the relief, sat with President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and the dime that we all still use today was created by this woman.
Really?
And nobody knows about it.
The Kinseys are effectively changing that and encourage others to follow their path.
This is a Pullman porter on the American Railroad system.
My great-grandfather was a Pullman porter.
Wow. That's the thing. That's the thing. This history is in all of our homes,
yes,
in all of our lives. And what we're trying to do is illuminate this in so many ways, but also encourage others to do the same. And because it really is the fabric of our lives.
Seeing that uniform really just transported me to wonder about
emotional.
this. I really did. I don't want to get all into it without pointing out the Kinseys have this remarkable book that details their entire collection. It is, as I said, more than 1,000 pieces.
Fascinating. Michelle, that piece was fantastic in so many areas that you were able to show us of parts of the collection, how different it is.
Really want to thank Sierra Morris for helping me with this project, our producer, and both of our editors, Kathy Landers and Laura Pajersu.
Yeah, it was wonderful.